There are certain sentences you don't understand when you first hear them. They don't sound important at the time. They don't arrive with any weight. They just settle somewhere quietly, like something placed on a shelf you don't visit very often. And then, years later, without warning, you find yourself standing in front of it again. I was a kid when it happened, late 80s, summertime, at a lake where the air always smelled warm before the sun even came up. The house we stayed in used to be a bed and breakfast. You could tell by the way it was built. Too many bedrooms, too many doors, hallways that stretched longer than they needed to. By the time we knew it, the house was already worn down, paint flaking, screens patched, doors that never quite closed right. But every summer it filled back up. Different families stayed there together, all at once, for a couple of weeks at a time. The men who brought us had grown up together in Manhattan. Same blocks, same streets. One of them owned the house now. The rest acted like it still belonged to them in some way. They brought their families, their kids, eventually their grandkids. And for a short stretch every summer, the house belonged to all of us. There were empty rooms everywhere, rooms you could wander into and out of without anyone noticing. Some still had old furniture. Others were completely bare. Kids claimed places without saying it out loud. A corner, a window seat, a couch no one else wanted. Outside, the lake sat just across the road, close enough that you could smell it before you saw it. Most days were loud. Doors slamming, people calling out names, someone always laughing somewhere. But sometimes, things went quiet on their own. Not because anyone asked for it, just because that's how the day landed. The moment I think about now happened one afternoon like that. I was walking back from the lake with one of the grandfathers. He wasn't mine. He belonged to another family. That didn't matter there. It was just the two of us. We crossed the gravel parking lot together, stones crunching under our feet. The sun was still high, but softer. Late afternoon light. Across the street, the house sat back from the road with a big lawn in front of it. Wide, uneven. The kind of lawn that had been mowed too many times to ever be perfect. I remember dragging my feet a little as we walked. Not tired, not upset, just bored. At that age, boredom felt unfair, like something had been forgotten, like someone was supposed to hand you the next thing. I must have said it out loud, because he looked over at me and smiled, and he said, "You know whose fault it is when you're not having fun?" I didn't answer. My mind started listing names. Other kids, my parents, the day itself, anyone but me. I waited for him to pick one. He didn't. He said, "It's yours." That was all. No lecture, no explanation. We kept walking. I didn't argue. I didn't get angry. I just didn't understand how that could be true. I was a kid. Fun was something you were given, a game someone started, a plan someone made. How could boredom be my fault? We crossed the street together, stepped onto the lawn. The house sat there in the sun like it always did. Quiet. Waiting. I forgot about that conversation. Or at least I thought I did. Years went by. Different summers. Different places. Different versions of boredom. Waiting rooms. Quiet weekends. Moments where nothing seemed to be happening yet. And slowly, that walk came back to me. Not the words at first. The feeling. He wasn't blaming me. He wasn't taking something away. He was pointing something out. That nothing was assigned. That nothing was promised. That if you were waiting for someone else to hand you a moment, you might be waiting a long time. That old house is probably quieter now. The men who grew up together are older. Some of them are gone. The kids grew up. The grandkids did too. But every time I think of that place, I still see that walk. The gravel. The road. The lawn. And a man who wasn't even my grandfather standing beside a bored kid, handing him something he wouldn't open until much later. Nothing was owed. And somehow, that made everything possible.